What is a man-made object that was 100 created due to a fear of something? F-15 fighter, flex biceps. The Russians had the MiG-25 Foxbat, which was an unknown quantity at the time. The F-15 was developed to be its equal. As it turned out, the MiG was way behind the F-15 in almost every way. It couldn't turn as hard and it could only barely use its top speed due to its engines needing a rebuild wherever it went over Mach 3. It was made from stainless steel, which brought its weight to around 60 tons. Look, hear me out. Airbags. MFs didn't want to DE when they crashed cars and quite fair emo, so they said let's make giant pillows that smack you when you crash so you don't DE. Hopefully. In all seriousness, it's a great idea, and I'm thankful I've never had to experience one myself. So here's a weird one, but digital menus. You know, the kind you see when going to a fast food place and instead of ordering at the counter you order on this big touchscreen menu. Those. People have a fear of social anxiety and being judged when placing food orders, so this got rid of that. Deodorant. Actually, it was marketed to women first, since sweating among men was considered very normal due to manual labor. After realizing women could be targeted with fear of body odor and not finding a partner, men started getting targeted during the Great Depression. Afraid of animals and hunger? Caveman make stick sharp. Afraid of dying in the cold? Caveman make fire. Everything else ever invented follows. Fear of leaving your house to talk to people? Telephone. Checkmate atheists. Parachutes. Oh, you're so scared of the ground you're just going to float down like some insignificant dust mote? Fuck that. The ground is dirt. Now you got out there and you show the ground who's the boss. The Tsar Bomba's explosion was supposedly only half its full power. Imagine the destruction of a power Tsar Bomba in the hands of any military or corrupt force. Absolutely terrifying shit to think about. That would be pretty much everything. Farming equipment, fear of starvation. Guns, fear of strangers. Drugs, fear of living. Movies, fear of boredom. I could go on. But won't. I think I've made my point. Great Wall of China. Wall on the US-Mexican border. The walls of Jericho. Usually where you see a wall around something people are scared. Hell, there are walls around Vatican City. Lighthouse. Fear of ships sinking. Lifeboats, fear of ships sinking. Life vest, fear of you sinking. Emergency beacon, fear of dying. Bear spray, fear of dying. Armor, fear of dying. Guns. Regardless of what someone may think about ownership of a gun, they were 100 created and used owned out of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of difference, fear of weakness. Fire extinguishers, because people were afraid of fires destroying their homes and belongings, so they wanted something to quickly stop fires from spreading and causing disaster. Bunkers, weapons, military, torches, medicine, insurance, light sources other than the sun. Nearly everything humans do is driven by fear. What's your point? Religious objects that fit in a pocket. The fear of not having a tangible piece of faith about which would be faith from within, or the intangible. The underground cities of Derinkuyu and Kamikli in Turkey were constructed due to fear of invading Arab Muslims during the Arab-Byzantine Wars. Many things, made out of fear of becoming destitute if you don't contribute to the system of creating meaningless objects in exchange for money. Jim Crow laws, redlining, and modern policing, just to name a few. Because of fear of black people. It may not be considered an object, but bomb shelters constructed during the Cold War era were entirely constructed out of fear. The F-15. No, seriously, the US government saw the MiG-29 and got so scared they made the most successful air combat fighter ever. Vikings with horn helmets. Vikings never had horns on their helmets. Artwork and stories were made to cause fear of Vikings. After 9/11 you could buy a plexiglass box with gloves to put around your mailbox so you could be safe from anthrax letters. The burqa. Nothing screams insecure, fearful men than a culture that has women completely cover every inch of their bodies. Bell strings going into graves. Made due to the fear of being buried alive. To know how it happened so much back then. Every weapon ever. The atomic bomb is the most powerful example. Created for fear that the Nazis would do it first. Shoes. I was afraid I might step on a pointy rock outside of my cave, and so I wrapped a dead animal around my feet. Religion. People are afraid of dying, so clouds and harps and stuff to make it more tolerable. Weapons in general were invented out of fear that the other one would kill you in a hands-on fight. If I had a penny for each time someone created a weapon to prevent war, I'd have a lot of pennies. Bunkers were created 100 due to a fear of potential threats, such as war and natural disasters. Side by side, sun, lotion, microbe, syringe, cloud, thermometer, scared face, USA, down arrow, bank, Down arrow. 2024 Interesting. As we zoom to the next agenda, the nuclear bomb was created because we were afraid that somebody else would make it first. Everything man-made almost is created due to a fear because men know what other men can do. Fiberglass coatings on submarine wires because cookie-cutter sharks were biting them. That water holding barriers outside Venice. Earthquake-resistant buildings. Vaccines. Space race to Mars. Fear of having all our eggs in one basket or something like that. Underwear. Was man-made due to a 100 fear of accidentally ripping your penis off. This anti-grizzly bear suit. God's fear of the unknown. Fear of death. Put the fear into others humans. The trans-panic clause. Made out of fear of treating trans people as people. I'll do you one better, a man-made element created out of fear. Plutonium. Anything religious, just idols created for the unknown or misunderstood. Labels on batteries saying don't drink the contents of the battery. 4-poster beds. Fear of rats falling onto you while you're asleep. Pot holders. Helmets. Goggles. Pretty much any protective gear. The cross or equivalent religious symbol, for fear of knowledge. The entire world, out of the fear of death. Death drives life. Nuclear weapons. For fear the enemy would create them first. Most of the things we make are due to a fear of something. The intercoastal waterway along the east coast of the US. Nuclear bomb created due to a fear of the nuclear bomb. The light bulb. Thomas Edison was scared of the dark. There are so many weapons that fit this description. The US Constitution for fear of government abuses.